there's, I assume more people will dial in, but yeah, let's get started. All right, you are live.
Hi, and welcome to everybody. Welcome to another meeting of the Hyperledger Media and Entertainment Special Interest Group. And we're very lucky to have with us today from Zua, XOOA, from Zua, Zach Danker-Feldman, who's head of business development at the company. We spoke recently about some of the work that Zua was doing, initially vis-a-vis NFTs, which you can imagine in media and entertainment are all the rage at the moment. But I learned a great deal more about the company and was very impressed regarding what they can do to streamline the broadest or longest possible process, all the way from conceiving of a project up through the minting, the promotion, the distribution, the preservation of the assets. So getting Zach to come here and talk about the comprehensive service that they offer seemed to me something that would be of interest to very many members of our group. If you hear a grumbling noise in the background, that's my dog beside me, generally upset with the world. But before she ruins the proceedings, I'll hand the mic over to Zach and take it away.
Thank you for that generous introduction, David. Hey everyone, I'm Zach. I'm going to be showing my screen now. Let's just get right into it. So this presentation is, of course, on our platform Zua and how to build NFT marketplaces and other blockchain apps fast. My name is Zach Danker-Feldman. I joined Zua back in May of 2019 when we were a completely different company, focused on general enterprise blockchain use cases with using an API gateway, and then progressively after that, low-code tools. I am the head of BD at Zua. I'm a Yale University economics alumnus, and I'm also an avid NFT collector. So I very much appreciated this pivot we took as a company into the NFT space after we realized that 95% of the tech tools that we had built over the previous 3 to 4 years in our lifetime, in our company's lifetime, were directly applicable to this new space. So we didn't have to adjust our there was no technology pivot, just a go-to-market pivot, and it's been a fantastic ride ever since. So to dive a little bit into briefly who we are before I offer an agenda into what I'll be discussing today. Our mission statement since our founding in 2017, 2018 has been to reduce barriers for blockchain adoption by abstracting away its complexities and allowing basically anybody to harness the power of blockchain technology. We're an established player in the industry with long-term objectives. As you can see, we were founded in 2017, and you can see we have partnerships with each of the major cloud providers. We're working with them on Hyperledger Fabric, and everything you'll see in this presentation and demo is powered by Fabric. For networks, we use in conjunction with them as sort of like a tooling layer, as a service on tooling layer on top, though you can use your own network as well. And I'll show all of this down the line in this presentation. We empower teams who build NFT and blockchain projects, and then we're fixing a major problem in the NFT space with the use of Hyperledger Fabric in offering environmentally friendly NFTs. So with all that said, on the agenda today, I'm going to start with an intro to NFTs. I'm then going to briefly discuss 2 examples that we are in various positions in our pipeline with. I'll look into issues with NFT platforms in general. I'll look into how Zua solves NFT's thorniest issues. I'll then show a demo of the platform and cover a lot of different areas. And then we'll dive into questions as well. So with that said, let's begin by quantifying the NFT boom. Now, there's a reason we dove into this space. As you can see from this chart, in 2019 to 2020, there was a 300% growth based on the value of primarily collectibles in the NFT space. And then from that to Q1 of 2021, there was a 600% growth, which means while this level of growth is not continuing, this is somewhat of a short-term bubble, but as use cases expand, as this NFT, as the potential around NFTs grow, the value will actually begin to sort of, the value will begin to really catch up with demand. So we see this as the space that's big, but going to continue to get bigger. And we're trying to be a leader in the space going into the future with our partners. So just in case, I think this is an important thing to define right off the bat. NFTs basically have 4 characteristics in our minds. You're able to establish ownership of something. They're transferable, they're traceable, and they're non-interchangeable. Overall, that means for popular use cases now, NFTs then facilitate efficient buying and selling of unique assets through blockchain. So that means you can create a secondary market where typically there was only a primary market that previously existed. Currently today, as I mentioned earlier, NFT use cases are relatively limited. They're mostly collectibles in which there's no value beyond just owning the NFT. And it's mostly for personal usage, not commercial usage. But an NFT can really convey anything, including legal rights, control over IPs. There's any number of areas that you can dive into. So we've had a few media and entertainment use cases that have come through our pipeline. And I want to highlight 2 in particular without naming names. The first one is around content distribution, in which an established news and media player wanted to modernize their content distribution platform using NFTs. So there wasn't an efficient way to capture payments between payers and vendors. So NFTs would, down the line with this project, NFTs will be content pieces that are trackable, where price points are then negotiated between reporters who create content and buyers who would be content aggregators or news sites like a CNN or an NBC, something along those lines. And we're currently in the POC stage with them. For number 2, we're a little bit further. This is for NFTs as user-generated content at live events. So we have an event space player that wants to empower fans with NFTs at virtual reality concerts, in which they're working with some of the biggest names in the space. Fans and who are artists would submit UGC content, UGC that will be used as part of the show if selected. And then these videos that they create, whether they're 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, that are then used during these concerts, would be sold as NFTs on a white label NFT Marketplace secondhand. And there are a lot of interesting capabilities around that, and we're just at the contract stage for this one. So we're moving very quickly with all of these. And in general, we've seen these use cases tied to events and content, IP of media / gaming companies like various big names like Simpsons, collectibles. Though we've seen collectibles primarily, we've also seen licensing around rights NFTs. So use cases have jumped all over different areas. So there are a lot of issues when it comes to using general NFT platforms on 2 separate sides. There's the marketplace service side, and then there's the custom marketplace development side. On the marketplace service side, I'm not sure if anybody here has used like an OpenSea or Rarible or one of these other massive public chain based marketplaces, but there's very complex UIs and a need to connect decentralized wallets like MetaMask or Mu or Alpha, I believe. A requirement to use crypto. There's scaling issues with very low transactions per second enabled on these platforms. Environmental issues, which is something that has been a massive turnoff for larger organizations in diving into the space. And then unpredictable costs due to gas and minting fees. On the marketplace development side, there's very specific expertise necessary to build these applications. And then there's a scarcity of those resources. There's not many blockchain DevOps or smart contract developers with this specific expertise. There's also long development cycles, and all of these are typically tied to Ethereum. And overall, that basically means if you want to build an NFT marketplace or an NFT use case, now you need a team. Maybe you just want to experiment and test it, but that's just not feasible when it comes to this space. Our platform actually fixes these issues in 2 different areas. So we have our low-code marketplace, in which we offer a solution template that can be fully customized. Now, typically for Hyperledger Fabric offerings, they're B2B we're actually a B2C offering that then works with other businesses in pushing out this use case. So we're a bit unique in that aspect. And there's a lot of reasons for that, as you'll see as I go on with this presentation. We offer the simplest UI on the market, as you'll see in the demo, the use of fiat money, which helps appeal to mainstream audiences. No minting fees or upfront costs due to the use of Fabric. We also have user management built in, including two-factor authentication, which takes away a lot of one of the biggest hurdles in a development cycle, as well as payment management and compliance, which is built in using our payment processors, including Stripe. On the protocol and tooling side for developers, overall, we can help you build. Our tools help you build your own implementation and use Zua as a blockchain backend. And you'll see here we use an ERC 721 managed smart contract. Anytime you see that, just know that we're talking about Fabric chain code. This is it's just a compliance contract standard that we use in order to build out these in order to build out these use cases. All this work is done on Fabric, and you have your choice of front-end development for this, in which you're using either low code, where you can deploy a solution template, or any code on our API using our API gateway. Either way, it abstracts completely the blockchain backend, simplifying that process and condensing the development timeline. Now, when you're pushing out a marketplace use case, there's basically two different types of use cases that you can push out for these in particular. There's the user minted marketplace, in which there's self-serve minting of user-generated content, or the operated minted marketplace, in which you're the operator and the IP owner, or you have access to that IP, and you keep 100% of that initial market sale and take secondary market transaction fees. And just the difference is who is minting, and then who gains that primary market profit. For the user minted marketplace, of course, moderation and curation is required. And for the operator minted marketplace, you're going to have private creators, but anybody can collect. And then you can also enable programmatic minting and batch minting through API gateway as well. So different potential use cases in this market that our platform will enable, that you'll see when I run through the demo of our platform. So there are a lot of competitive advantages on our platform. A lot of competitive advantages through our features that are, a lot of them are enabled by using Hyperledger Fabric. First off, we have intuitive minting, listing, and trading journeys that operate much, much faster, largely in part because transactions are recorded almost immediately within this proof of authority network. There's no minting costs since we use Fabric, which enable additions, which mean you can enable 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 editions of a single NFT that all point to the same media file. And that allows for monetization, maximization across demographics, and deeper engagement with a fan base. And that offers a lot of potential new opportunities that you can't see on these NFT marketplaces on like an Ethereum, where you can largely only sell NFTs that cost more than $500, more than $1,000, more than $10,000 to justify those costs. Additionally, you can trade with fiat and avoid the crypto wallet barrier in order to appeal to the mainstream. And you can trade with loyalty points and increase user engagement if you want to develop your own loyalty points use case that integrates with an NFT marketplace. We also offer royalty management within our platform, which I'll show briefly, that allows you to create complex business models and partnerships where, say, if you have a digital art piece over here, if there were 2 artists that worked on it, you can have royalties go to artist 1 and artist 2, as well as a marketing affiliate that increased exposure for this use case, or a charity that you want to donate some portion of the proceeds to. And then there's different types of NFTs as well. There's your basic collectibles use case, which collectibles NFTs, which are your most popular now. That's your NBA Top Shot, your digital art pieces with multiple editions, that type of thing. There's rights, in which you're actually owning the commercial rights to the underlying asset. And then there's promissory NFTs, which allow you to sell a promise that you'd have to fulfill. at some point down the line, whether that's an hour of an artist's time that went, then once that's fulfilled, you can offer that user a commemorative NFT afterwards with say a media file that was a art piece that was created. There's limitless potential with any combination of all of these features involved. Now, on the architecture side, we're a cloud native platform of platforms, as we like to call it. In short, you can create many projects quickly and in parallel in an environment that enables experimentation and simple transition to production without any blockchain expertise needed. Now, with our blockchain on Fabric, we're an environmentally friendly blockchain, which I'll show on briefly on the next slide. There's no gas until a user decides to move their NFT to Ethereum. So currently we are a plasma chain, which means we enable block signatures to be recorded periodically on Ethereum as an added means of security. We don't yet allow transfer of NFTs to Ethereum, but that is coming within the next couple of weeks / months. And once we enable transferability to Ethereum and other public chains, will then be a full side chain on the platform on that public chain. We also offer best-in-class scalability in our platform because Fabric enables a higher transaction a higher TPS, theoretically up near 3,500 if maximized. We see scalability as essential in this industry, as I'm sure many of you do, especially in use cases where blockchain didn't catch up to demand, as you've seen, as has been the case many times in the history of NFTs. So overall, this means that that we offer a great platform for both experimentation and production of any number of different use cases. So next, through using Fabric, the Zua blockchain has one of the industry's lowest energy footprints. And based on our research, we offer our energy output, our footprint is 100 million times less energy per transaction compared to Ethereum. Again, that's largely thanks to using Hyperledger Fabric. Over the average NFT's lifespan on Ethereum, it'll accrue a footprint of 211 kilograms of CO2. And that's calculated for all Ethereum transactions for an NFT. And that includes minting, bidding, sales, and transfers. You can compare that to 2 milligrams of CO2 on Zua using Fabric. So these green NFTs solve a massive NFT issue. And with that said, we are operating on a proof of authority, Fabric network with no associated cryptocurrency, but we will soon be taking applications to extend our network through other users and organizations operating nodes in order to create a more decentralized organization as well, to look more like a Flow or a Hedera. So with that said, before I dive into the demo, this is what our NFT offering looks like, which is very similar to a lot of NFT offerings with a couple added interesting capabilities. There's the user minted or operator minted creators that'll upload, either side will upload / create, depending on the use case, an NFT, and two separate things will happen jointly. First off, the media file itself will be stored on the cloud while the NFT is minted and then stored on the blockchain, in this case, the Zua blockchain. And then as step two, a bid and buy process will take place where a user will buy off the primary market. And step three will be there will be buyers and sellers trading, buying, selling this NFT amongst themselves with the ability to stream and download that NFT. And then step four will be any profits made from this will offer a payout as a final means of as a final step involved within this process. So with all of that said, I'm now going to dive into a demo of the platform. This will take a little bit, as I'm going to be covering a decent amount of this platform. So here you can see the Zua design console. This is what's available on the back end for your developers and other users and admins that have access to the back end of an application. You can see I have a lot of apps in the My Apps areas. I've done a decent amount of demos for different use cases. But down here we have our separate potential smart contracts and applications that you can deploy. We have custom smart contracts if you want full back end and front end control of an application, which you can deploy on Fabric and choose any number of sources in writing that application. We have different token and digital asset implementations in our own Zua Ledger database. We also have solution templates for any number of use cases, including health records, lab management, voting, KYC, loyalty points, all down the map. For this case, of course, I'm going to use the NFT Marketplace. I'll select it. We'll just call it the Hyperledger Marketplace because why not? I'll select deploy. And after a few seconds, now my own Hyperledger Fabric application is being deployed. All the underlying chain code is being instantiated, and just the heavy lifting of the blockchain is being done for me. It's also configuring forms, dashboards, user roles, a lot of low code features in addition, and then just making this process as simple as possible. Returning to the design console, if I click on it again, you'll see under Ledger, I have the ability to deploy on the Zua Ledger in addition to any of these external networks. I mentioned in the beginning that we have partnerships with each of the major cloud providers. These can be deployed on just simply by selecting if you configure them yourselves. So if I go to Ledgers here, you'll see that I can configure different ledgers on each of these networks or on a self-configured network. You can see here there's very simple configuration files. For example, if I click the Oracle development package, all I have to do is upload the development package zip file from Oracle in order to, and then I'll select done, and this entire this step-by-step process will be taken care of for me and automatically filled in. So for configuring an external network, it's a very simple process, and then it will appear on each application that you deploy. You just simply have to select that box and you'll be able to deploy on top of it. As you can see here, we have capabilities with 1.x as well as 2.x for Hyperledger Fabric. It's also easy to extend any networks if you see fit for a network deployed on your own. You can see here if I could easily add a peer, go within I haven't configured any of these, but I can deploy a peer on premises or through any of these cloud providers as well. They can be either observing peers or endorsing peers if you want them to take part in processing and transacting transactions that are recorded on your ledger. So all these are your capabilities around networks. With all this said, I believe, yes. So my application has now been deployed. I was just sort of taking that time to explain networks in order to save a little bit of time in this demo. But this is the network that this is the, NFT Marketplace application I just deployed. You can see here I have a lot of different areas: general market, featured if you'd like to have a featured section on your marketplace, rights. So general market is for collectibles. Rights Marketplace is going to be for your rights NFTs. Your NFT wallet is going to be all your NFTs that are held. My rights are going to be your rights NFTs that are held. You have a dashboard for certain users for visualizing data, a profile for your personal storefront where you can, if you're selling any NFTs down here, it'll show all of your NFTs. This will be a shareable page that you can share on social media, anywhere you can design this page further. Here's your wallet address. You have your money wallet, which is our integration currently with Stripe, where you'll receive your payout. All of this is immediately set up on our low-code marketplaces. I'm going to invite another user to this application. It's going to be one of my other email accounts, which I'll show. I'll offer the simple NFT user role, which is configured on the back end. I'll show what that looks like after showing an entire user journey within this. But I've now invited another user. If I go back to general market now, I'm going to mint a collectible to show what this looks like. I'll be shown this page. I can see under NFT asset, I'll select browse, and I'll just select one of these files that I have. This is just stock art that I downloaded before this. We'll do shapes art. I'll call it shapes art. I can give it a description. I can give it artist details here, and then I can establish a number of editions, which is a capability enabled by Hyperledger Fabric. For us, I'll do I'll do 3 editions for this. I could do 10, I could do 100, I could do 1,000. I'll give categories here. We'll say art and collectibles. I can make an ownership statement in which I'm the original artist, author, creator. I have exclusive rights to this, which I'll describe I can describe. But in this case, just for this demo, I'll just say I'm the original artist. I'll then go to royalties and selling. And I'm not going to list for selling yet. I can then go to royalties, which I mentioned before. In this case, where you can just say for this art piece, again, I might have worked collaboratively with another user. I might want to donate to, increase exposure with a marketing affiliate, which we'll offer soon. I might want to donate to a charity as well. Any number of entities involved here can, as long as they have a wallet address on the platform, they'll be able to participate in this royalty management and get a portion of initial sales as well as secondary market sales as well. So for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to say it's royalty free, and I'm going to select mint. And it's going to ask me for a KYC process, I believe. Apologies. I have to log back in. Had a slight issue here. A lot of this is more art than science, as I'm sure most of you know. So let me log back in. Fantastic. So hopefully that NFT was minted. If not, I can remint it. If I go to my NFT wallet, here you can see, yes, this shapes art NFT was minted. There are 3 editions of it. Say now I'd like to sell it. So I'll go to sell selected editions. I have my 3 located here. I'll just go to say the 3rd one. I can sell it, I can gift it, I can destroy it, and I can look at the transaction history. In this case, I'll just sell this one for say $50. I'll select list. I'll have to go through a KYC process for this. I'll just input information that, unimportant. A URL. So with all that set up now, I can list it. And you'll see now transaction process with a unique transaction ID. My edition 3 of Shapes Art is now for sale. I'm now going to transition to a different account where, let me reload this page. And I should see if I don't have to log in again here. Yes, if I go up here, Hyperledger Marketplace, where I was just invited, I'll click accept. And now I can see on this marketplace, this Shapes Art being sold by user 1 for $50. Looks good to me. I'm going to purchase it. I'm going to use, this is a test Stripe account, so the numbers don't really matter since this is all play money. So let me just put in this information, select authorize charge. And after a few seconds, you'll see token is queued for transfer because the payment is being processed. It should have taken place by now though. So if I go to NFT wallet, I now own this. I now own this shape art, as you can see here. I can sell it. I can do whatever. I can do whatever I want with this. You can see here, I now own this single NFT. So that's the entire user journey for this. Returning to this account, say I go to my money wallet, you'll see I have $50 with a slight fee taken out of it for the platform fee in this case. So that is the entire user journey. Very simple, very easy to use for any collector, for any creator. This was, of course, a user minted marketplace, though it could be operator minted. Very simple process. I can, for here in this page, I can add bank details, complete my verification, and get a payout for all of this. All really simple. I'm now going to show what this looks like on the back end. So I'm going to click customize. And this will take me back to the design console. You can see here, different color. I have I'm now in this Hyperledger Marketplace application. I have my forms tab here where I can adjust all these low code forms. Let's see, which one did I mint collectible? So if I click design here, I can, through drag and drop composition, update this form however I see fit by adding, a text field. I don't know, I'll select units, and it's now added to this. So very simple means of structuring data input in as easy a way as possible for your users. If I go to pages, this is my means of designing the navigation panels, everything the users will see when they're interacting with the application. I can design dashboards as well. Tokens minted over time. Sometimes it takes some time for them to register, so it might not yet work for this. My roles, in which, like in this case, NFT users are both creators and collectors, so they have the ability to access mint collectibles operations for the marketplace under rights as well as collectibles. If I just simply wanted them to be collectors, I could get rid of this form capability and work from there. You would also have moderators and an admin who has access to everything, including user management and app design. So lots of capabilities there. Users, this is your means of user management, looking through all of your users that are registered on your application. And then publishing is for your white label marketplace. So this is if you want to add personalized capabilities. You can create a self sign-up capability where NFT users can sign up if they simply have this sign-up URL. You can add a logo to this application as well. I won't in this case, it'll just be what pops up in the top left-hand corner. Invitation email, app terms and policies, custom CSS if you want to personalize the look and feel of this low-code application, localization if you're located in a different part of the world or want this to be translated between different languages, etc. We also have API capabilities. If you would like to, design through the API gateway. Let me click on a different one, Demo Marketplace. When I go to Sandbox, you'll see we have our ERC 721 endpoints here, as well as identity endpoints, which are specific to Hyperledger Fabric identities. And you can use these in order to build your own custom client application that's integrated with Zua as a blockchain backend purely. If you want sort of full creative control around this, you can also transition between the two, between low code and an API gateway if it would require data migration as well. But all of these are, both of these are design possibilities for this use case. Returning to the Hyperledger Marketplace, you'll see we also have our world state, which shows the state of the world as it currently is. So all of the transfers that have taken place, we have this $50 cost for this transfer from this user to this user, in which it was approved. We have a new owner for it. And then we have transactions as well. If we want to look through every past transaction that took place, if I click token here within this network, in which you can see this was the creation of this token in the past. It was Shapes Art, and there were 3 of these tokens. I also have the opportunity to look at the ledger here. If I select ledger, this may look familiar to a lot of our viewers. This is based on the Hyperledger Explorer, where you can see here number of blocks mined and the number of transactions. This is the our dashboard with the activity within the network recently. If I go to transactions, I can see all of the transactions that have taken place and their associated metadata added to this, where here you can see the I believe it was creation of this token. So all of this is available with its associated metadata. Additionally, you can go to blocks and view the block hash calculator. If you see fit, I can autofill this and calculate the hash, since all of these are matched. If this previous block hash, this 5 was changed to a 4, and I calculate this again, you can see that block hash is entirely different now, and the chain is now broken. So added interesting capability that is available to all users on the platform. That's most of it. A couple additional potential capabilities I wanted to bring up before ending this presentation is team sharing capabilities, where you can collaborate with other developers and users on your and develop out applications, integrations with off-chain platforms, as well as lifecycle, including VS Code, Jenkins, CLI. There's a lot of use cases within this platform involving NFTs as well as others that can be utilized by pretty much anyone. Our NFT Marketplace our NFT Marketplace solution template is available for everyone, and as you can see, helps you basically reach MVP status almost immediately. If you use the API endpoints, you can create your own custom client application, but you can also dive into other NFT use cases where it's, say, integrated with a gaming world, with other entertainment use cases directly within those applications. There's a lot of potential use cases. So with all that said, that's pretty much the end of my presentation. Thank you all so much for listening. All of my information is here. I'll now take any questions that anyone might have.
So please jump in, folks. Either just unmute yourself and feel free to ask a question, or if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have the questions transferred over here into the chat. So whichever of the two is easiest for you to do. While people are still pondering, I did want to ask, could you tell us a little bit about the history of developing the platform? Because given the infancy of the NFT market, in other words, how young it is, how recently it appeared, this is a remarkably nuanced and user-friendly platform. There's obviously a lot of UX, UI work that's gone into it. So could you just tell us a bit about the journey that the whole project has taken from its inception to where it is now?
Absolutely. So this platform was originally started as a spinoff from another organization called Aleppo, where they were building out a mobile money payment platform that was going to implement blockchain as its sort of differentiating factor. They happened to jump between different blockchains, including multi-chain was one of them. I believe Ethereum was one of them, but that didn't offer the scalability they were looking for. And they ultimately settled on Fabric, but realized that there were a lot of complicating factors and expertise that didn't translate between them. So it made it impossible to experiment and test properly, then reach production use cases, which made blockchain infeasible to grasp for a lot of companies. And they realized this is a problem that businesses everywhere adopting blockchain are dealing with. So they realized the founding team realized that there was a massive opportunity here and began developing Zua in 2017. It got incorporated in 2018, and the original focus was around an API, developer tools and building out the API gateway. I believe that was released in around mid to late 2018, with the goal of just abstracting the blockchain backend for that. But then that transitioned into further simplicity, because a lot of our users coming in were business users that then couldn't utilize that API gateway and develop out these use cases properly. So it helped to envision the use case much more closely by developing out low-code tools, and then specifically solution templates that had the use case entirely built out, but they weren't. But they were just that, templates. They weren't particularly mature. They were just a simple means of visualizing the use case. We didn't necessarily get the demand we were looking for around that. There was a lot of people that were impressed by the tools, but didn't progress past the early usage and the early experimentation phases. Then in early 2020 and late 2020, early 2021, the massive NFT marketplace, or the massive NFT boom, happened, and we realized that, as I mentioned in the beginning of the conversation, 95% of the tools we had developed were directly applicable to this space, and all we had to do was adjust our go-to-market to attack this new space. And that basically caught us with our hands up and ready for this new transition. And we were unbelievably lucky in order to be put in that situation. And that's sort of how we got to where we are. And we have been seeing unbelievable demand. We're in the later contract stages and should be signing several within the next week or couple weeks. So it's been a long journey to get to where we are, originally focusing purely on enterprises and now going into this space. But it's been effective and useful and good.
Anybody care to jump in? Sorry, I was muted. Something else that's come up in some of our previous discussions and meetings is the rationale that goes into choosing, let's say, Fabric over Sawtooth or Besu. Is that something that you've had much contact with and you could perhaps speak to?
Mm-hmm. So that was originally just around demand that we were seeing around the market. That's largely where the entire where our development resources have gone, is around demand that we've seen. And Fabric basically offered all of the tools, all of the features and capabilities, all the advantages that we were looking for in scalability, ease of use, private channels, and ultimately it was the framework that we put the most development work in and added the most features and capabilities on top of, in addition, to make it generally useful for a lot of other use cases as well. So that's why we ended up sticking with it, because users weren't as concerned about which framework that they were using. They were more concerned with the capabilities, the functionality of it, the advantages that we then offered on top of it. And that's ultimately how we got to the product that we have now using Fabric.
Hello, this is John. I have a question. Mm-hmm. You mentioned being able to point to GitHub for custom contracts. Mm-hmm. What are the restrictions or like, what are the requirements for those contracts? Is it only chain code, or what can I write a contract in that custom?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that'll be, of course, outside of our solution templates, outside of our other smart contracts. I believe Jonathan's on this call, who's our CEO. Jonathan, could you help me out with that question?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, John. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm not dressed for this, not having that many meetings today. But yeah, so you could write a custom smart contract in any chain code language, Go, Java, in Node, JavaScript. And you could. We also have Solidity support, right? So if you want to run, create a custom smart contract in Solidity, we'll deploy it on an Ethereum network, on an Ethereum DLT, which we have the capabilities. We tried at Hyperledger technology. I don't remember off the top of my head. You guys probably can help me. That runs EVM, that runs EVM code on top of Fabric, right? But we just couldn't make it happen with most of the smart contract, right? So we ended up just deploying a private Ethereum network for that. So you could do Solidity, you could do all of that. It's really cool. As Zach was kind of going through the history, that was our first kind of feature when we went to market on the first Hyperledger World Forum I think it was in Basel. Right, some 3 years ago or 4 years ago, that was the big deal, right? Here's your entire smart contract on GitHub, and now it's deployed on Zua, and now it's deployed as an application, right? And then we added a layer on top of it, and so you could bring in any project, any Hyperledger Fabric project, you could import it, it will work. All those samples would work, but we also have what is called, if you put in that GitHub repo, you put the Swagger JSON there, now you could define how to expose smart contract function to the API gateway at a high level, and basically show what Zach was showing a little bit on the ERC 721 smart contract, right? Make it easier for developers to put the smart contract to use. That makes this system very similar to the Composer. If you guys remember the Hyperledger Composer back in the day, right? The output of which, right? So which allows very structured entry into the smart contract by outside applications. So that capability is also there. Those are all available on our GitHub as samples, right? So if you just Google Zua GitHub, you'll see those samples. Some we brought in some chain codes that are really common for Fabric and other over there, and we put that Swagger JSON there as well, right? So there's also a YAML definition file. Actually, now I remember that allows you to create a library of smart contracts that are available to the organization, right? Yeah, but usually as templates, right? That they could choose from, right? So again, just looking at different layers or different walls within the organization as they develop smart contracts. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely.
When it comes specifically to the world of media and entertainment, which is what we have a specific interest in, and simultaneously, given the rush with which people are trying to actually turn everything and anything into NFTs, what type of assets have some of your users expressed either greatest interest in, or where do you perhaps, given the ease of your platform, where do you see perhaps the greatest interest being? Because I mean, you can tell just by the number, the type of templates you have on the back end. This isn't your primary interest at the moment, but it is one that arguably gets the most amount of journalistic coverage, especially after the Beeple composite artwork. So maybe the simpler of those two questions would be, where do you think your users might take the tools that you have? Because at the risk of flattering our speaker, I mean, the platform is so easy to use. There's nothing to stop an individual jumping in and Googling a few things and starting from scratch.
Well, right now, of course, most of the interest and demand is around basic collectibles, nothing too particularly complex. That's, digital memorabilia somehow from celebrities, whether that's even just basically videos from like concerts. It's certain moments from, someone's history. That's primarily where the demand is now, though we are seeing increasing amounts of newer, more innovative use cases. There was one that I mentioned earlier for user-generated content around live events. That's much more, I think, it's along the same lines as it is somewhat of a collectible, but it adds a lot more new, interesting capabilities into the space. And I think one of the biggest new areas in the media and entertainment industry will be ease of interaction between followers or just viewers, just a general audience and their and some celebrities, some target figure, some entity, and facilitating sort of like a new means of if it's like a young celebrity, if it's a new celebrity, helping them become more popular, helping them raise funds. If it's someone that's already established, helping participating further in their experiences somehow, whether that's buying a certain portion of their time, whether that's investing in their sort of their reputation in some means through NFTs, whether that's contributing to some live experience or other experience that other people will be seeing and that they'll then be watching, then gaining some sort of license and revenue from that use case through submitting that NFT that then is, that represents a media file that's used within this experience that a lot of people are viewing, and then selling that at a later date. overall, yeah, it's just getting, I think it's just deeper engagement is going to be where one of the biggest.
But Zach, 100% of our media and entertainment activity, I mean, first of all, 90% of our activity is media and entertainment today.
Yes.
And 100% of those are NFT marketplaces, right? Right, one way or the other, right? So you were basically describing use cases within the NFT marketplaces, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm just not sure, David, if that's what you meant, or you were asking about the other blockchain use cases, right?
No, I just got the impression, it seems that the wrong impression from your back end, given the range of your templates. So for example, Zach had already mentioned health records, which is interesting because I mean, you know, I'm at UCLA and I'm doing something that is technically similar with the med school, because as you know, one of the interests in the health market is how can the health records of a patient between different hospitals or clinics be shared safely. So I got the impression that given what Zach had said about the history of Zua, that it, you know, obviously it has a very strong background in the financial management together with healthcare and so on. I just thought that maybe media and entertainment wasn't yet a major part of your focus, but it turns out that it is.
Mm-hmm. Today, I think if you look at the last 3 months, I'd say almost, I mean, there are a few coming in other places, insurance and healthcare, right? But it's almost everything. We're in media, entertainment, sports, esports, gaming. Those are the verticals and all NFT marketplaces, right? So for us, it's a big change in demand. And also the type of companies that we're dealing with, right? Very large, respected organization, you know, broadcast networks and or rights holders and IP owners, really big ones, right? So a big change for us, and everything is around the NFT marketplaces, right, over there. So
the biggest I think area being right now in gaming. I think, though I don't know if that's directly relevant to media and entertainment, but basically natively integrating NFTs into existing gaming ecosystems or creating new ones entirely has been where a lot of the demand that we're seeing is coming from. They're less using our low-code marketplace, which makes it like a marketplace use case very simple, and more using our API gateway in order to create much more specific, ingrained use cases within these gaming ecosystems and environments.
So within the gaming...
Zach, can you offer any... Oh.
No, please go ahead.
Sorry, Dave. Thanks, David. Zach, can you offer any those organizations that in gaming that are using the Zua platform?
Just mention any? Jonathan,
No,
are there
no problem if you can't.
Yeah. So you know, I would look at the top 3 gaming companies that holds a lot of IP, right, and assume that we're in discussions with them, right? So and various stages of evaluation. You know, I'd say, you know, I see some more. I deal with more stuff on the media and entertainment side, I guess, than Zach is on the and Zach is in the gaming, right? But you know, I would say probably that it's very well balanced, right? The demand that we see in both spaces, right? In gaming and in media and entertainment company, whether these are in media and entertainment. Whether these are producers of content, the media owners, or whether these are owner of IPs through their various shows, right? And or just networks, and a lot. What we also see is, you know, people in that industry just launching new ventures, right? Within the industry, right? So that's another way that we see. But in the gaming, assume that all the big ones are looking at this one way or the other, right? Yes, other than those that already made commitments to others, right? I wouldn't say that Zua is probably the only one. I mean, there's other public blockchains that are not based on the Hyperledger Fabric. There's like the Wax. They're doing okay. We see them also in gaming, right? And that's another big one. And there's
Flow is another big one.
who? Which one?
Flow.
Yeah, Flow.
That's another massive one around that. And then there's others as well.
Yeah. So what we see here, by the way, right? So one of the limitation, I would say, we're in this Hyperledger group, kind of a friendly group. Let me tell you, right, that one of the limitations of a private blockchain is in the sense of ownership of the NFT, right? That the collectors are using a trustless design or a trustless ownership. They're expecting trustless ownership. So what we're doing is now high on our roadmap is the ability to move this NFT from a Hyperledger Fabric network to other networks, like to an Ethereum-based network. So you don't lose that ownership that is so important to collectors, but you still gain the scalability, the environmental aspects, the minting costs around gas. You still gain all those benefits. Yes.
Well, I think, oh yes, my clock just ticked over from 59 to 10 o'clock. So we're actually out of time. Thanks to both to Zach and to Jonathan, to everybody who was here. You've given us a great deal to talk about. I was keen that you guys have an opportunity to showcase your material. So with that, I'll let you go about your day, and thanks very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, David. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Thank you.